Oh, hi, what's up, everybody?
Dude,
It's
I love cinema.
Yeah, I love Sinbad.
I mean, I'm only human.
What's up, everybody? It's industry professionals.
Yep.
You know what it is,
Mhm.
maybe. Today,
mix.
last week was the best of 2018, and now we're here to do the opposite end of the spectrum, as movie talking people do. We're gonna do the worst of 2018.
Yeah. The next week though is going to be most middling, which is
Yeah.
going to be a really you can skip that one.
Painfully mediocre
It's
movies.
going to be
It's gonna be all right.
we'll have fun.
Maybe. So
We're not going to do that.
movies we got set up today. We're mainly going to be talking about 5 because my lovely co-host Ben did not
bad.
watch my top choice of last year. But it's okay because I might have a new top choice now that I've seen Gotti. So
I mean, that was a journey.
we're getting to.
I was not ready.
We'll do that one last. Don't worry. So first we're gonna have the newest Jurassic World movie.
That would be Jurassic World 2: Fallen Kingdom.
Jurassic World 5, Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom.
Mhm.
Then we're going to talk about Venom. Gotta go get him, Venom. Slender Man, the Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx Robin Hood movie.
Robin Hood 2018.
Yeah, Robin Hood 2018 is how I should pronounce it. Then we got Gotti. That one we'll spend a lot of time on, I feel. And then the other one was Mute, but, you know. So here we go. Let's start it.
Yeah.
So we're starting off with Jurassic World 2, probably because it's the least bad out of all these.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with yeah.
Why was this something that you chose to be in the...
You want the honest answer?
Sure.
Okay, so we had to pick 3 movies
Mhm.
as our least favorite movies, and
Yeah.
I couldn't come up with a third.
Yeah, well, it didn't end up mattering.
Didn't end up mattering because you didn't watch 3 anyway. Yeah, this movie, it's really bad. There's nothing that good about it. I think I just watched it in theaters and rolled my eyes more than most movies I saw this year. Right off the bat, something that bothers me is that the characters, Chris Pratt and what's her name, Bryce Dallas Howard, are just completely different characters in this movie than what they were in the last one.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I was so checked out for the first Jurassic World. But they sort of switch, and he's like, I don't care.
Exactly.
He's like, I'm done. I'm done with that.
Which is a fine idea to
fine.
have them switch roles, but they don't explain it, and it does not feel earned.
The thing that started to make me angry was like, I don't know. I just felt like, and maybe I'm just being contrarian and like difficult, but like watching it, I was like, what's the big deal? Like, they brought dinosaurs back, and now they're gonna die on this island in a volcanic eruption.
Yep.
And like, they're like, we can't let this happen. Like they have like their nonprofit organization, and the whole time I'm just like, do you guys like know how animals work? Like, have you ever had a dog? Like, they're not around forever.
Yeah, well.
And they're like, this species is gonna go extinct, and it's like, well, species go extinct.
Well, I don't think you can just roll your eyes and accept the extinction of species, especially if it's somewhat caused by man, which is...
This one is the
This
least
one is
caused
not.
by man
Because-
of any extinction.
Because, yes, humans brought the dinosaurs back
Yeah.
in the first place. So we have every right to take them back out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the whole movie revolved around the premise that if you see a human being and an animal on screen, you will empathize more with the animal than the human being.
Yeah, that's the idea for the most part.
And
yeah.
I hate that.
Except for the scene where Chris Pratt is sneaking up on that sleeping T-Rex.
Same thing with when I'm watching Game of Thrones with people and they're like, oh, the dragons, don't hurt the dragons. Dude, the dragons are monsters.
Yeah, well, in this movie, the T-Rexes and Velociraptors
and
are
Indominus
humans
Rexes
almost.
as well, also.
No, it's
and-
not called the Indominus
well,
Rex
there-
no
it's-
more.
Now it's the Indoraptor.
Indoraptor, is that what it's
Yes,
called?
yes.
I haven't seen this movie in months. Oh my god, that's so
Rolling
funny.
down the street, smoking Indo,
Oh wow,
sipping on gin and juice.
wow, that's beautiful. Did you write that?
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, so the premise is that Bryce Dallas Howard is suddenly now a dinosaurs activist.
Yes, she's a dinosaur activist with some like cool millennials in like a Brooklyn sort of startup
a flat.
space. Yeah. Got some exposed brick wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big time. That's how you know they're starting up.
Yes, exactly correct.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense because she was like a corporate hack in the first movie, and she couldn't care less about the dinosaurs. She was just in it to save her skin, and then this movie, she's like, I care about dinosaurs.
Yeah. And she's, there's also, we get an impassioned speech from Jeff Goldblum. Who,
oh my God, I forgot he was in this movie.
Who, like, I don't know that I've ever seen something more phoned in.
Yeah, it was
like,
wild.
It was incredibly.
It was so clearly, we got Jeff Goldblum for a day.
Yeah.
Let's utilize that.
And then there's a line he says early on, and I was waiting for the first line that was like, that's something that sounded smart on first pass, but actually doesn't make any sense. And for him, it was, well, change is a lot like death. You don't know it until you're at the door.
Yeah, sure. It's just more.
What do you mean? Yeah, sure. That doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't mean anything. But yeah, sure. Jeff Goldblum would say that.
Yeah,
That's more or less me remembering or trying to piece that together
and being like, "What do you expect?"
Yeah, because like his character in the first movie says a lot of things like that, I guess. So I guess they wanted to bring that back, but it's written by Colin Trevorrow, so it's not going to be smart or anything.
It's just
sorry, Colin.
It rings so much more hollow in a larger than life story than in a smaller limited story to have more philosophical musings, right?
Yeah.
When he's like, life finds a way, and like we never stop to ask, should we?
Yeah.
And it's like that's kind of interesting because that's extending the thought experiment beyond the confines of the story happening in Jurassic Park.
Yes.
But now that it's gone global, like it just is so. Everything is just too much. And like these musings are not interesting anymore. They just sound stupid.
They don't propose any questions. It's more or less stuff we've heard before. Yeah, I thought it was really annoying how they used him for one scene in the beginning and then just cut back to that scene at the end.
Apparently, and so I read the Wikipedia page about this pretty extensively.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, they cut much of it because they decided that it would be better for the next movie to have.
A lot of the Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
So he's going to be in the next movie?
Presumably also briefly. And also much of what they had in general was cut to be in the next one.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that one, the next one it's gone global. It is,
One thing that I really hate about this movie is that the marketing showed the last shot in the movie. Like the last montage in the movie was like heavily just the marketing. Because that's like, what people want to see.
They were here before us, and they'll be here, folks. They were here before us, and they're going to be here after us if we're not careful.
Who is that supposed to
Barack
be?
Obama.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Yeah, so the trailers for this movie show you people surfing and a giant fish dinosaur swims up. So and then there's like a
trailer.
And then there's also like a velociraptor looking over the sunset of LA. It's like
lion, and there's a lion in a zoo.
Yeah, and then those are literally that's the last sequence in the movie because all the dinosaurs get freed on the Earth and they get taken to different sections of Earth via governments? Contractors.
Via Jeeps, mostly.
Yeah, via Jeeps.
There's a lot of Jeeps.
At least it's not Mercedes, am I right? Remember that in the first movie?
I think the thing that like actually made me mad throughout this movie was just a fundamental like borderline unscientific anti-intellectual understanding of how animals work.
Yeah.
Is just like these dinosaurs are evil and they fight each other. Doesn't matter that there's a volcano erupting behind them.
Unless it's the one with the hard head. Then that thing's just cute. Head,
who, by the way, he also was like, hey, we're going to use this one to break through the wall as a tool, which is pretty much what the bad guys want to do.
Yeah. Exploit the dinosaur?
For like their unique traits.
Yeah.
But like... Then and at the end he's talking to Blue, which is the one that we like because we need
the dinosaur who we have gotten to know.
Yeah, it's the one that they're
this
toys
franchise.
of. And he's like, come be with us, be safe with us. And it looks at the cage as if to say, like, I need to run free. I
Yeah.
can't go back to
Yeah.
that cage. Like,
Ugh.
this is not how animals work.
No. It takes a lot of liberties. It takes a lot of things that don't feel like what a dinosaur would do. Like you brought up how the island of Jurassic Park is blowing up and like there's a volcano erupting and all the dinosaurs are running away. But like, there's humans running away too, and they're running away from the dinosaurs too, and it's like they wouldn't be after you, dude.
But they're like they're a set piece. More
Exactly.
Than yeah, and it's just like I don't know. I'm like, why are they smarter than other types of animals in the world? Like, it's just weird.
Genetically modified, my friend.
That's so stupid.
It's so stupid. The problem is that's how they're gonna write it off, and that's how it's being written off. So you just have to.
I just think
it.
that's a horrible angle that they went all in on.
Well, yeah.
But yeah,
I was kind of hoping that this would be Jurassic World War, because the military guy at the end of the first Jurassic World is like, I'm gonna use these dinosaurs for military.
Yeah.
And then it'd be really funny if we got to see that, but it looks like that's just gonna be the next one.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
You want to hear something stupid, though? This is me being stupid. In the movie theater, I'm sitting there, pretty much hated this movie all the way through. That ending sequence happens, and I go, I want to see what happens next.
And yeah, no wonder they used it as the trailer.
Yeah, exactly. I might see that next movie. Just
You'll probably see it.
It's directed by Colin Trevorrow again, so
He's not good.
he made an indie movie years ago that people loved.
What was it?
Safety Not Guaranteed. It was a time travel movie starring Aubrey Plaza and Mark Duplass.
Whoa.
Yeah, everybody loved it. I watched it in high school, and I just thought it was a boring, dumb romance movie that had nothing unique about it other than time travel.
But people like it?
Yeah, people loved it. And then he made Jurassic World, and I guess everybody realized he was a hack.
Yeah. He's not very good.
But Boca Henry, that movie's awesome.
In Wikipedia, it also talked about how they were like, he was citing all this stuff that they used as inspiration, like very Hitchcockian. We had this gothic mansion that it ended in, which we wanted to be very Hitchcock.
Yeah.
And we wanted it to be sort of these two storylines where the first act feels really disconnected and different from the ending. And he's like, like in 3 Days of the Condor, like, going back to this stuff that it's like, no way did you.
Yeah. Like, whenever I hear stuff like that, it immediately makes me think, that is you coming up with it, like, after the fact. Like, you made this movie, and now you're like, oh, what inspired it? It's in a big mansion. That's like Hitchcock. Like, things like that just sort of... Sure, there could be inspiration, but it means nothing to me. Because inspirations don't mean anything, and originality does not matter in this world.
Yeah, what? Wait, what?
I love this movie.
Whoa. Guys, what just happened just now? Yeah, it was, I found it frustrating. I wasn't into any character. The bad guy just got so bad out of nowhere. The thing I did like, though,
it's the slug guy.
The thing I did like was the scene where he goes to smother his father or his grandfather.
Yeah.
But you can't show that in like a PG-13.
Wait, who is smothering his grandfather?
Bad guy.
Yeah, bad guy.
Like rich bad guy.
Yep.
Goes to smother, but you can't show that, so he just like takes up the pillow menacingly, and then the little girl finds him dead. And if you're like a young kid in the movie theater, what do you think happened?
Yeah, right.
Like what?
Like he picked up a pillow and now
He picked up
dead?
a pillow. There's a shot of the amber on the top of his cane hitting the floor and shattering.
Yeah.
Also doesn't make sense because he wasn't holding his cane
why would
in
that
bed.
happen? Yeah.
But whatever. And then, like, what do you think just happened? Like, he just beat him up with a pillow until he died?
Also, I love the fact that this movie introduces a character, James Cromwell, who's been with it all along.
Yeah, I hate that.
I
Who's like
hate
my
that in
partner,
movies. We worked on it,
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, together.
Yeah, I was
I'm the
I
other
was
half.
here for this whole thing. Don't you remember me?
It's like when Christoph Waltz in the fourth James Bond movie was like, "I've orchestrated all your pain," and it's like, what? No, that doesn't make any sense.
I sent Javier Bardem after you.
That's what he's.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that movie's not great.
Not good.
I like Casino Royale.
I think Casino Royale is like the best James Bond movie that was made. It's the only one I've seen. That's not
I don't know,
the other ones.
Moonraker.
Octopussy, Doctor No,
Thunderball.
Tomorrow Never Dies. Is that the one where they're like
You
in the
guys
Arctic?
heard- yeah.
Okay.
Tomorrow Never Dies is the one where he surfs.
That's the one I've always been meaning to see just because it looks great.
He surfs on the exploding wave.
Yeah, like that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Probably will never see it. 'Cause
And then lands in Greece when he's one of 3 men invited to a wedding to find out which of them is the
oh
woman's
god.
father.
Okay. All right. I believed you. You had me going.
No.
We'll have our Mamma Mia episode in a couple weeks. Anything else you want to get out of your head for Jurassic World 2 Fallen Kingdom,
There
Jurassic
were
Park 5?
some things I thought were okay. Oh, I hated that nerd. There's the nerd who is
Justice
the audience,
Smith.
the audience stand-in.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the one we relate to because he screams
'Cause
like
he's
Josh
like,
Gad.
Oh, is this the Tyrannosaurus? I don't want to. Ah!
He's Josh Gad.
He is absolutely Josh Gad.
He's Josh Gad in this movie.
Yeah,
That's all he is.
100%.
I like how the guy, I'm looking at his name now, Toby Jones. He was the auctioneer. That's who
Yeah.
I meant by slug guy.
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
not Raph Spall.
I'd feel bad if I was that dude. You never get to play a pleasant person.
Yeah, you're never the guy people like.
No.
Yeah, you're like the scientist's assistant
Or like-
in the Captain America movies.
Yeah.
You're
Or
like
like there's
slimy.
an evil judge and you're his bookkeeper. like
Yes,
you're
yes.
writing in a big book.
He serves higher evils, you know?
Yeah,
like
absolutely. You only will ever be a subordinate bad guy that shows that the world of these people is bad.
Oh my god, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the only.
So there was
role
also
that
another
gets.
line that made me angry where he was auctioning off the Ankylosaurus or whatever, and he's like, known by paleontologists as a human tank. I was like, it's definitely not known by paleontologists. That's the
It's
opposite
not
of how
known
scientists
by
talk.
paleontology. Yeah. I also love how for that dinosaur it's like, yeah, all you need to do is shine a laser on whatever it is you want dead, and it'll go after the laser. And in my head, I'm like, I mean, if you had the laser on the guy already, just pull the trigger, right? Like,
yeah, no, that's the other,
doesn't make any
that's
sense.
They want the Velociraptors to be like weapons in the wars of
Yeah.
the future.
which makes no sense.
But like bombs exist.
guns exist. Like, come on, tranquilizers exist. There's so many ways to stop a dinosaur from attacking you.
The only way to stop a
Helicopter,
dinosaur, a bad guy with a dinosaur, is a good guy with a dinosaur.
apparently.
No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, sorry guys. Don't go out there fighting the bad guy dinosaurs with your good guy dinosaurs. That's not a good move. Anything else?
Just I liked. There was one part that I liked a lot.
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
It was a scene where they were driving into the park, and it was a shot. The thing that I liked was a shot.
One singular shot.
And it's when they drive into the park and there's a bunch of toy dinosaurs, but then one of them is like a real little dinosaur that like jumps away.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, the setting of having it set in a park where disaster happened
That's
is
not a bad idea.
is not a bad idea.
All right.
Um,
It's only the first half of the movie though.
yeah.
First 30.
Yeah,
even.
then they go on a sick boat,
Dude, it makes
like a cool truck inside a boat,
ugh.
and then
How stupid was
like
it?
a mansion.
How stupid was it that the ending just took place in that mansion and the underground layer of said mansion?
Vast compound underneath the
Also,
mansion.
I love how James Cromwell did not know about all the stuff right under his mansion. Like, how did that happen,
He's
bud?
very old.
He couldn't hear. There's a lot of digging and construction, but he's just too old. Yeah, that's not a good excuse, Colin Trevorrow. Thanks, though. Anything else?
No.
I'm done, too. Cool. Yeah, not a good movie. We're not about it. That's the theme of this episode. Up next was the other blockbuster hit film.
Number one movie in the world.
Here's the thing. Jurassic World 2 even made $1.3 billion at box office. It made hefty profit.
What was the Fallen Kingdom? Was the Fallen Kingdom
The island that fell.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the
Jurassic World,
Fallen.
the theme park, Jurassic World,
yes.
was the Fallen Kingdom.
Was the kingdom that fell.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they're returning to said Fallen Kingdom.
In Jurassic World 2.
Yes.
The Fallen Kingdom is Jurassic World.
It's not the Lost Park anymore.
Okay.
It's just the Fallen Kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, huge success. all
Again,
over
they
the
also
world.
compared it to, in this Wikipedia page, apparently they compared it to Star Trek II Wrath of Khan and The Empire Strikes Back in sort of the legacy of this darker second chapter.
That's definitely what they were going for, too.
Yeah.
It ends on a bad note. Oh, my. I love it when the characters I've gotten to know suffer real turmoil and get gritty for the third movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're done. Venom.
Venom.
Gotta go get 'em, Venom. This movie has also made way too much money.
It made a lot of money.
$850 million. I'm reading it right now. 855. And it did not have a huge budget. It had a budget of like $100 million.
It's probably a lot of people our age
Yeah.
who this is their favorite movie.
Yeah. There is, well, also China.
Yeah.
This movie blew up in China. Venom is the new Tom Hardy pick. That is Spider-Man's bad guy,
Tom Hardy. Riz Ahmed.
Carrie Mulligan.
What? Who?
Isn't that her name?
Who's Carrie Mulligan?
Is that not her name? Oh my God! Who?
I don't know anybody else.
I'm talking about Michelle Williams. Who?
Michelle Williams.
Who's Carrie Mulligan? Give me a second here. Oh, Carrie Mulligan's the girl from Drive. I thought the girl from Drive was in this movie. Is that not her? No, it's clearly not.
No.
Whoopsie daisies.
So
we're back.
It is Sony as opposed to, but it's like licensed from Marvel.
It's like it's another one of those. It's not made by Marvel, but it's based off of a Marvel comic book, so they get to put Marvel's logo
And
on
Stan
their
Lee
movie.
is in it.
Was Stan Lee in this movie?
Yeah, which is
When was he in this movie?
he has a dog, and Venom is like, "Who's that?" And then Venom is like, "I want to eat that dog."
And do they eat the dog?
No.
Oh, well, I don't remember that.
So
scene.
this one, as the marketing boasts, watching this film will be akin to releasing your inner anti-hero.
Yeah,
And
but
that is exactly what happened.
no. Venom in this movie is a straight up hero. Like, yeah, he looks scary, but other than that,
Despite the fact that actually none of it comes from Eddie Brock.
what do you mean?
None of it, like, a superhero movie, that's the thing that, like, one of the two things that really bothered me, that didn't sit right with me after this movie is, like, in Captain America, it's like he was a good dude who was given powers to help people more, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was a heroic man before. Eddie Brock is, like, lame and whatever, but doesn't put himself in harm's way, really, because Venom is always like, I got you. Like,
Yeah,
you're going to be
that's
fine.
true.
You're not going to suffer any harm. Just go along with it.
Yeah,
So he doesn't do anything.
he's literally just a vessel.
He
for
doesn't
Venom.
stand for anything. We aren't really rooting for anything.
Well, no, he stands against corruption, as we're told in the opening montage.
but
of
then
him
he
being
says, I
like,
don't care. Later he says, when she comes to him, he's like, I don't care. I'm done with all that helping your fellow man stuff. And
Oh.
after that, he's just running away from cops that want to get him, or Facebook, Google, Elon Musk employees
Well, no,
that want to get him.
He stops Riz Ahmed, dude, who's the Silver Venom now.
Well, and the other thought is that then we're just watching Transformers, right?
That's I got flashbacks to Transform when it was like the symbiote goo just fighting more symbiote.
Because
goo.
we're not rooting for Shia LaBeouf. We don't care about.
All right, speak for yourself over there,
Sam
bud.
Witwicky.
Yet again, speak for yourself there, buddy. That's a Transformers reference because he stutters when he's nervous.
Yeah. But like
Deep cuts.
we
Industry
don't care about that. We're there to see Megatron fight Darth Vader or whatever. Sorry,
I
I don't
would
know
watch
the.
that.
I don't know. I don't even know the Transformers names. You guys, I don't even know. That's how little I care.
Optimus, what?
Optimus was. I don't even know the Kardashians.
All right. Every dude's favorite actor, Tom Hardy.
Yeah, every white male age 18 to 32.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I would skew younger than that. I'd say like 18 to 26.
I would say like 16 to 26.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Got you there.
Doing...
You want to know what doesn't make sense to me?
He's fine, I guess, in this movie.
Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
He seems like he doesn't
he's
care.
drunk the whole time.
Okay, here's a big problem. He has like an American accent the whole movie, and
It comes and goes.
it comes and goes, and it just sounds like he's just talking weird. He's like, I'm Eddie Brock.
It's sort of weird. Yeah, it's Eddie Brock.
Like, I don't care what accent you got. If
yeah.
you're going for an American accent and you don't land it, that's fine as long as you're consistent throughout the whole movie. But he just fluctuates in what he's saying and how he's saying it.
Sounds drunk the whole time.
Has a lot of wristbands.
Does.
Leather ones.
Yes. I do hate that he like works for Vice. That's so stupid. And then also
Dude,
that
come on,
I
think
don't-
about it. It's a movie
Of
about
course it does.
Venom.
No,
like,
of
what
course
do you
it
think
does.
Eddie
Of course
Brock's
it
gonna
does.
do?
Yeah, but like a bunch of other stuff like that. Why did the love interest forgive him?
Movie.
He did a really lame thing.
Yeah.
He did a super uncool violation of their relationship by like looking at her legal documents.
Yeah.
Not even having the idea that there would be anything incriminating in there. Just being like, yeah, let me look into your stuff and then like get you fired, and then she forgives him.
Yeah, no, it's a movie thing where it doesn't make sense to anybody but the movie and the movie's set of rules.
And then also
A lot of movies will just the guy will win back the girl for no reason.
Yeah, but it's just like this. It felt like it was the crudest imitation of a superhero movie where it's just literally people want to watch superhero movies about the thing that appeals to them, and this one was going to be like edginess.
Yeah.
And it's just that vessel
Hot
because
topic.
it doesn't have anything new. It ends with a monster fighting a different version of itself.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any really philosophical leaning or even moral leaning because, like you said, he ends up just being a good dude.
Yeah.
Despite it being like, he's
is the bad
anti-hero.
guy.
Shades of Grey. In the end, he literally is talking to the Venom suit and he's like, you can only eat bad guys. You can't
We're
eat
doing
good guys.
good, yeah.
And then he's like, Venom's like, how can you tell? And I'm like, okay, here's their chance to address it. And he's like, I don't know. You can tell. It's pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah. And then he eats
What?
a guy in a convenience store.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, so like, I guess you're good, and then, so it's just like, what are we rooting for? We just want to see the.
I think the appeal here is to see screen time of Venom moving and talking. I think that's
I
the
hate
appeal.
when Venom like has joke lines.
Oh no. Okay, here's the problem. I laughed once in the movie. I laughed
Was
hard.
it that when he takes the elevator?
Yeah.
How does
I'm
he's an
sorry.
alien?
I'm sorry. It was just funny.
It is
Okay, here's it. Don't be like, hey, he's an alien. How does he know that word? He's in somebody's brain. All right. He can
Okay,
probably
that's
read.
fair.
That's fine.
And he knows that you call someone that to
Yes.
humiliate.
He knows everything Tom Hardy knows. Yeah. That scene,
So
I
he doesn't
laughed.
know how to do an American accent.
Yeah. Venom's doing a horrible American accent the whole movie.
Hey there, partner. Do you wanna watch John Wayne movies? You were saying, you know what I didn't.
What?
You were saying, you know what I didn't like was, and then I cut you off.
I could think of like a million things
Okay.
right now. I could not tell you what I was just thinking of. Oh! I want to talk about the end credits.
the
Woody
Eminem song?
Harrelson.
Oh, the stinger.
Yeah, the carnage
Yeah,
is coming.
cool.
I got big questions. A, how? B, why? C, how? Like, come on. Did only, like, so the symbiote fell from space, Venom. Eddie Brock got it. And there were, like, two more, right?
There was one that like the woman got in like Indonesia,
Uh-huh.
and then one that the little girl and the dog got.
Mm-hmm.
They might be the same one though.
I think those are the ones that
And it
they
doesn't
end
matter.
up fighting.
Doesn't
No, it doesn't
matter.
matter. But here's the thing. Why is Woody Harrelson locked in a prison and going like, I'm Carnage, when he obviously doesn't have the symbiote yet? And how is it going to be presented to him? When, where, and why?
Hey, I'm gonna say something that I hope to not hurt you with,
Oh, no.
but
Stop.
I actually don't care about Carnage at all because I'm not 13.
Well, yeah. Okay. I'm just saying, why do they take that angle with it in the movie?
I don't know.
Like, it's literally like, oh, he's writing Carnage in blood in a jail cell.
Yeah,
That's
actually
gotta
doesn't-
be his own blood.
That doesn't make
Like,
sense unless he just had an aesthetic before he became.
yeah, and just happened to meet
He just had
Tom
very
Hardy
strong personal branding before he was even
in prison.
even a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think there's? I mean, there's gonna definitely be another one. Right?
It's already
Like,
being written. It's being. Here's the
yeah.
thing. It's being written by the woman who did rewrites on this movie, I believe. She's writing the entire screenplay by herself as
There
of right
were
now.
there were parts of this that were not as bad as
You anticipated?
as
Yeah,
I anticipated.
That's fair.
Like
Like,
the effects looked very cool.
Effects look, except for that last fight where you
The
couldn't
last fight
really
looked
tell what
weirdly
was going
fake,
on. Yeah,
and that's because I think they were also on like a CG, like
Doc,
like space
Doc
runway.
Yeah.
Riz Ahmed
Are you about to say he did good?
went back and forth between having some of the better written moments in the whole thing and some of the most atrociously written.
I'm
moments
the
in
bad
whole
guy.
thing.
Remember that line? That's a
Yeah,
good one.
yeah. But well, I liked when he was like talking to the kids. I thought that was cool.
Oh yeah, I do.
He was
remember
talking to
that
kids
scene.
and he's like, "Hey, chase your dreams." You know,
Yeah.
like, yeah. And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And like, and you're like, "Is that a face or is that he genuinely believed that?" Either way is interesting.
I think the point is that he's a face.
Okay, whatever. But that he could have been like, like the dude in Jurassic World 2 who was just like, "Whatever, little girl, get locked in your room."
Yeah,
I'm
that's
an
true.
ogre.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the villain here had one more layer.
Yeah.
One paper thin layer thrown on top of the paper thin
and then
character.
you have the lines that are like woof, where he's like, "Isaac, are you like Isaac? You're helping me out by being the human experiment." Isaac, that's a biblical name, right? And already I'm like, that's pretty not great.
Yeah.
Like that's just that we get it, the Bible.
You're about to kill this guy.
And it's like that's a biblical name, Isaac and Abraham in the Bible, and I'm like, this is not okay from a writing point of view. You can't do that. You can't be like, "Oh, hey, Methuselah, that reminds me of a thing that mirrors this." Not okay at all. Just the most convenient.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most smart guy, dumb guy writing of all time. You know what I mean?
The dumb guy thinks he's smart by writing that, or the other way around.
Or it's written for smart dumb guys or dumb smart guys. I don't know, but just something where it's like the base level of like, hey, the story of Abraham and Isaac, and it's like, yeah, that's not, and also, that made me so mad.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's bad.
I liked the parts I really liked were when that woman ate the eel in the very beginning.
I don't know.
She didn't. She had the symbiote in her, and she like walks into this market in like
right.
Singapore.
Yeah.
And like eats an eel.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And I liked when he was eating all the stuff in his house, and he didn't know why.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of
Him getting used to the symbiote was probably the most entertaining.
him like rummaging through the garbage and
Yeah.
like eating trash chicken out of the garbage and being like, why did I do that? Or like
Yeah.
grabbing live lobsters.
Yeah, like that's interesting.
That's
to watch.
good.
Most of like I don't want to say most, but I was engaged when he was like learning more about Venom and like just sort of talking to him at some parts. That doesn't mean I liked it or really liked what I'm talking about. It just means I kind of was engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had my interest for a bit. Can we talk about how this movie was expected to do pretty poorly because they did not release the review embargo until like the day before the movie came out, and Tom Hardy did an interview that week and was like, "Yeah, they cut the 40 minutes of my favorite part of this movie."
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
He was just like, "Yeah, so this movie was originally supposed to be R-rated, and my favorite stuff, the hard, grittier stuff, all got cut, and it's like 40 minutes worth of movie." And then the movie came out and still made $850 million, and he signed on for the sequel. Like, he was trying to save face there at the end, but it didn't
That's
matter.
hilarious.
It's so funny. It's so ridiculous. Like, come on.
This was one of the more fanboyed over movies that came out.
This movie was, I think, completely driven by a Venom fan base. It wasn't just like anybody going to check it out. It was just like people like Venom, I guess.
Yeah.
The type of people who share Venom's Facebook photo on Facebook.
Yes.
Oops. Venom's photo on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys get it.
Punisher logo dudes.
Venom is made for the Punisher dudes, like
Eminem
straight up.
fans.
Eminem, there it is.
It's Eminem fan, Tom Hardy fan, Venom fan. You have a Venn diagram, and the overlap is the Venom movie. Venom diagram.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We were gonna play the Eminem song that is actually hilarious for this show, but it's riddled with curse words.
He has wordplay like Marvel and like lost its marbles. He does the sort of thing where he does the words like that.
You know, the Eminem way of rapping.
The thing that he's
my voice goes up, and then it goes
he actually got like a really bad head injury like 15 years ago. So he's just been stuck in that voice.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. The
Because
chorus
his voice goes too fast to get down to the.
Doesn't the chorus for this song literally go Venom, Venom, Venom? Gotta go get 'em, Venom.
I don't know. I think it's something more than that. It's like
Venom, Venom, Venom. Gotta
it's
go
like
get 'em.
gotta get 'em, get 'em.
Venom,
Gotta,
Venom.
no, there's something else. There's one other word that rhymes.
All I know is that exactly one other word that rhymes with
yeah,
Venom.
so it's a rap.
He goes Venom, Venom, Venom. That's the chorus. Is him repeating the title of the movie, which I don't know. It seems a bit lazy. It seems like you didn't care all that much about this song.
Can I jump back to Riz Ahmed really quick? Just the last thing.
Go for it. I don't. You talk about the whole time.
There were some lines that were just so like only like that's a bad guy line. That's like no one would hear that and be like, okay, like when he's like, God left and he made us all fend for himself, but this time. Or God abandoned us. And then he's like, later in the same sentence, he's like, but this time I won't abandon you. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, we get it. But everybody in the room is like, okay, yeah, sure, cool.
Do you think that when God looks at his own creation, he too is horrified?
God hides in heaven because he too fears what he's created.
There it is. That's the line.
Dude, I love Spy Kids too.
Yeah. This movie feels like it's from 10, maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is really strange because
doesn't feel that long ago.
It doesn't feel that long ago, but it's also like it's really nailing that time period despite taking place today.
Yeah, it feels like it would take place before the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right?
Exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like a la Catwoman, Daredevil, Elektra type movie. You know what I mean? It's like sleek.
So
it's
a bad movie.
It's a bad
But yeah,
superhero
see,
movie.
like that almost
itself
like
way too
post the
seriously.
Matrix vibe almost.
Exactly that.
Which actually this very is.
Yes.
Like the fight scenes
In
and
a
stuff are
post-Matrix world, we
very-
get Venom. Yeah, it's jarringly like that, and I think that's all just solidified with Eminem's song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Anything else you want to say about Venom?
It just made me mad, and it was like the first Marvel or superhero movie in just a long. I mean, that isn't Justice League or where I'm just like, why do we want this? What do we like in this?
Well, I think people want a Venom movie in general. I would like one if done right. I think this movie's not at all connected to Spider-Man, which is something we didn't say, but I feel like everybody already knows. If there was a Spider-Man connected Venom movie, I think that would be enjoyable.
I'm not
based on the fact where it's like, okay, he's gonna go up against Spider-Man in the next movie, a la Split style, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
That
would be cool.
That's what I want.
But
this isn't that.
it's not gonna happen, and also he's clearly not the bad guy.
That's the most annoying part. Is like even in Deadpool, he's the good guy, but he's also like a bad dude. In Venom, he's just straight up like, let's do some good.
But I also think people. This is gonna sound really mean, but
Here we
like,
go.
I don't know. I think most people who love Deadpool are not smart enough to understand that he's bad. Like, even though they know that he's bad, they're still like, yo, but I'm the twisted friend too. Like,
yeah.
you know, I
tell edgy jokes as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think Deadpool and Venom fans are two sides of the same coin.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Just in the fact alone that the symbol for Deadpool and the symbol for Venom are on so many things.
True.
Like, you see a kid with like a backpack that's got like a Venom and a Deadpool pin, you're not shocked.
Yeah.
And
because like if you had like a Batman symbol, that's for kids. But this is like superhero, but not for
everywhere.
kids.
What are you talking about?
But that's what I'm
Adults have it
saying.
on the back of their laptops.
You should not if you're an adult. I'm gonna tell you right
Too
now.
too bad. You're not living.
just gonna go ahead and tell you that should not be the case.
Take that off. Take
You know
that
what
off
should
your
be on the
laptop.
back of your laptop? Nothing.
Wow, I agree with that, but I have a laptop case because the bottom one doesn't fit.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Oh, okay, cool. Guys,
You're
I
good,
got
you're
Ben's
good.
approval on the laptop case. We're good. All right. What movie do you want to talk about next? You want to do Slenderman?
Slenderman, because it also has tendrils. Like how Venom has like tendrils that
Oh,
it shoots
okay,
out.
sure. Yeah, I'm
Slenderman
in.
is
Yeah,
basically
there's the
Venom.
connection. We did
Yeah.
it, guys. Yeah. So this is the worst horror movie.
It was bad, and like
It's horrible.
when somebody says, because I'm not a big horror connoisseur, so a lot of times when people say it was so bad it wasn't even scary, like
That's a bad.
I figured
That's
it was like a flex or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I watched this and I'm like, oh, okay, no, they just actually don't know how to create a moment pretty much whatsoever, or like it just wasn't happening.
Sorry, Ben. I'm gonna have to fight you on that one. I think the people who made this movie are completely competent in making a horror movie. I think
You think they were
I think they did try to make sequences that were scary and build tension. Like you said, hey, this is interesting. At the scene where she's looking at her phone and there's somebody outside just
Yeah.
approaching her door.
Yeah, we talked about some good moments.
Exactly. I think this movie was heavily edited. I think there was a lot of studio interference. And I think that what we got is a very watered down product to what we were supposed to get originally.
In the original version, we found out what happened with that one girl.
With multiple characters that
that they just
found. If you ever want to find out what happened to those two characters that were just gone after like 2/3 of the movie, watch the trailer. You know what happens to them. In the trailer, there's straight up a character that's featured heavily in the trailers that is not in the movie. They're in the movie. There's like one of the friends of the three girls who are looking for their dead friend. She goes first, but you don't see her go. She just goes crazy, and then that's it. But if you watch the trailer, there's a scene of her walking into biology class and stabbing herself in the eye with the scalpel,
which
for
would be
dissecting frog. That would be a horrifying image.
it'd be much more
Effective.
impactful than probably anything that happened in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, and the teenage boy who obviously watches the video and is disturbed by it.
Yes.
There's a scene in the trailer of him
Who
jumping.
did he look like? Who's the not Miles Teller?
Not Miles Teller. Yeah. He jumps off the school building in the trailer. So
Well,
now we know we did it because all
in
we had to
this
do
one
was
it
watch the
happened off
marketing.
screen and also wasn't mentioned.
Didn't happen.
Did not affect the community in any way.
Yeah. So this movie, the trailer came out. I think it was pretty close to like a national incident involving high schoolers and death.
There are a couple of those.
Yeah, there's a bunch. So pick one. It came after that. And also, I believe there's a lot of backlash from the town in which the original story happened.
The Slendertown?
Yeah, Slender-
Slendertown, USA.
Slenderville.
As I
And-
will now
Yeah.
call me Slender Man.
Anyway. Yeah, so that... the first trailer showed a lot of teenagers like getting harmed and committing suicide. So
Which is a lot darker. Like
That
that's
is
that's a big
that's
step of
incredibly dark.
disturbing. And
Yes.
it's like, well, yeah, that is the reason that there was a very compelling documentary about this is
Yes.
because it was not the unpleasantness was not coming from the fact that a mythical demon exists.
Yeah, a monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like from...
Yeah. And
you guys get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was always supposed to be a monster movie, but probably dealt a little more with something
Closer
along
to
the
something
lines.
like It.
Yeah, exactly. And after that first trailer came out, the movie went through like the chop shop, and I think what we got is like a really unfinished product. Like even as the ending just feels completely rushed. Like the last 10 minutes are where it all comes to a conclusion, and it happens in a flash.
Yeah.
Like, and then it ends with
the
like
daughter,
narration.
like in the it's like, and then that's
This movie also has a horrible cycle of scenes. It's like the girls who are friends are talking about Slenderman and how they're noticing funny things, but never getting specific with it and never actually talking about it. Just being like, yeah, I've been having nightmares about that video. And then that's it. And then there's a trippy scene involving the main character having a dream or something.
which looked, for the most part, atrocious.
There's a lot of CG in this movie, and all of it's terrible. All
like,
of it is
like looked like dream sequences from like 10 years, more than 10 years ago.
I think the
Like,
closest
like
comparison.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit looks better. I think the closest comparison I can make to this movie is The Bye Bye Man, which is another movie that came out.
Bye Bye Man.
Did you ever see The Bye Bye Man?
Yes.
That one's a classic. Yeah, I think it's pretty close in quality to that one, but I just think in this movie less things happen somehow, which is startling. Who's the kissing booth girl? Joey King.
The one she looks like she's like maybe 13.
Yeah, her. Joey King. She's in this movie and she has a line that is the best line in any movie.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, yeah, it's the Slenderman essentially gave us a virus. You know how like a computer can get infected with a virus, but instead of the computer, it's our brains this time.
Instead of hard drives, it's our brain.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, do you know where the word virus comes from?
you know how computers get viruses? Well, this one's
We
in
can
like
too.
my lungs.
I feel sick now. Yeah, stuff like that. Also, there's some really awful shots. I don't know if you noticed in the beginning, they're sitting on the bleachers and like the sun's peering through, and all you see is silhouettes essentially.
Because I think that's like the style now is like that sort
Why?
of moment in time, like horror movie, but the moments of happiness like are very picturesque. Where like the
But, like,
sun is
at least,
catching off
like,
the
show us
hair
the
and-
main character's face.
Yeah.
This is the first scene with them. Get going. Let's go. Chip chop chip. I need to see something.
Yeah.
Um,
One thing that overall, sorry, go ahead.
no, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay. That overall bugged me is that I think Slenderman's an interesting idea. I think
Yeah.
it's interesting because it's not a thing that was written by, any one person in particular.
It's created by the internet.
It's a thing that came from the internet that was a cool original idea. But the problem is because that isn't copyrighted, anyone can make their lame cash in. Like I don't like the definitive Slenderman game. I don't know if you remember, was just that game where you go around and pick up like 8 pieces of paper.
Yeah, to find 8 pieces.
Yeah.
I think that game is actually not terrible.
But point being, anyone can
Yes.
make their
it's not
interpretation of it.
copyrighted. It's not trademarked.
And it
Free
just
reign,
it
open
was
domain.
lame, and it was lame, and it wasn't. It was written by
Adults.
adults who don't get it, and nowhere is that more exemplified in my mind. And this is a very specific nitpick that I think is just emblematic of the larger problem. Is you remember how they had like those gates, like the wrought iron gates out in the woods?
Oh, the one gate door.
Yeah. So I put 2 and 2 together later after watching it, and I think that was supposed to be because I don't know if you remember the actual like case where
No.
of the girls who stabbed that girl.
Okay.
And they said that they were gonna do that so that they could go to the Slender Man mansion, and that's not like a thing.
No.
Like that's just the cross section of somebody who's mentally ill
Yes.
reads something and like the fiction becomes blurred with whatever they have in their head.
Yep,
And something,
yep.
but that's not like a thing.
No, I've never
But
heard of the
but
Slender
no,
Mansion.
no, but every adult was like, and you heard that they were they. It's like how adults thought like Dungeons and Dragons was
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
during the 80s,
Uh-huh.
but where it's just like this is just clearly them just throwing everything at the wall because they don't really know why this is appealing to people.
And you're saying that those gates are to the mansion?
That's what I think. Because
How-
they're like fancy spirally
Yeah, yeah,
gates
yeah.
out in the middle of the woods.
How crazy would that be if the end of this movie was like, yeah, that story is real and Slenderman made them do it? How crazy would it be if that was their angle?
That'd be nuts. I mean, I would then understand if the town was upset, actually.
Yes,
Like, that is-
exactly.
that
I would
be
understand
nuts.
the backlash. I think this movie...
That'd be bold. I mean, I know that that's what you're saying, but like... Slenderman's real and innocent.
Got him.
Oh yeah,
There'll never be like a man like Slenderman for 5,000 years.
Man, he kept the community safe. You know,
Yeah.
he only did it to his own. That's when Queens was classy. Is when Slender Man was here.
No, I got him locked up. Pigs. Yeah, so
Yeah,
this movie just feels like it's like another example of like a teen horror movie that's just bland and just like the studio churned it out. But it feels worse because of how horribly edited it is because of the backlash.
I think there are people who worked on this that'll probably go on to work on good things.
Yep,
and
I
be
agree.
a part of creating very good, effective sequences in movies. There were parts where you're like, I get what you're going for, it's poorly executed. Or there were a few parts that we were like, yeah,
Okay,
That's
yeah,
pretty good.
I see what you're going for. Yeah, no, I hear you. Let me see here. There's something. No, the director has not made anything that good, and he directed a couple episodes of The Americans.
that's like a beloved show.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the only thing I can find though.
Oh, we have like 3 more movies. to talk
Stomp
about.
the Yard and Losers. Yeah, we have like 3.1 or we have 2.1 movies left because we're not even going to talk about Mute much because you can't.
No,
talk
we have two.
about it.
We have.
We have Robin Hood and Gotti.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, come
That's
on.
fine then. We're good on time.
Yeah, we're fine.
I
on
think.
time.
I
don't know
mean-
what you're getting at here.
There's a lot to discuss with Gotti.
Well, yeah, there's so much. To discuss. That's why we're saving it for last. So you want to move on to Robin Hood?
Yeah,
This one, I am afraid to say.
Robin Hood's Robin. Oh, I messed it up. It was gonna be Robin Hood Meh in Tights. Robin Hood Meh in Tights,
Yeah, I
ladies
get
and
it.
gentlemen.
Yeah. So this one is probably the one that gets the least reaction out of me all across the board. Because at least like with Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, I'm like, wow, this is really stupid, and with Venom, I'm
It
like,
had the
wow,
scene. It
it's
had
really
the scene
stupid.
with the Brontosaurus on the dock, and
Yeah.
and Robin Hood had nothing, no
memorable
moment,
moments.
even a misguided moment.
No shots even that where you're like, that's gonna stick with me after I watch this.
I did like when Jamie Foxx's character, whose name is an African name, but who can be loosely translated to John.
Do you want to know what his name is in the movie?
What is it?
Little John,
Yeah.
and then comma, Little John.
No, but he says in a scene, he's like, my name is such and such, but you can call me
Little John. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
That would be great.
If Little John played Jamie Foxx as Little John,
If Lil Jon was in...
dude, what if they made a movie like a Ray-esque biopic, but it was Jamie Foxx playing Little John?
It'd probably not be bad, actually.
Yeah.
I would watch a Lil Jon biopic, like,
With Jamie Foxx as Little John.
probably with, like, anyone as Lil Jon.
Unless it was a Netflix original, then I probably
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's
watch
true.
it. I'd be like, ugh.
Yo,
Yeah.
Did you see the thing for that Motley Crue
Yeah,
thing?
I
It
did
looks
see
so
that.
bad.
I didn't watch the trailer. It's probably gonna be bad.
That's the thing I'm saying is all these biopics are coming out about like musicians about like it's going to show all dimensions of their life. No, it's not because the people signed off on it.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing. I think Rocket Man will be better than the Bohemian Rhapsody.
I think that's true.
I think
but
it looks imaginative, which is a word that
it's a
I
little,
hate using
a little
right now.
Baz Luhrmann-y. But then again,
That doesn't
Elton
help your
John
case.
sort of looks Baz Luhrmann, like that's his aesthetic.
Yeah,
like
it's just super extra and glittery. I like how we turned this into a discussion about Elton John and not Robin Hood because I hate this movie.
it rules actually.
Don't say that. No, don't say- take it
because here's
back.
the thing: you thought you knew the story,
And I
Dan.
did.
I thought you knew the story.
I knew the story
Well,
better
then
than
did
I
you
thought
know
I
that
did.
made Miriam steals from him in the beginning, and that's how they meet, and their
Dude,
sexual tension
Dude,
ignites?
did you know that in this version he was once wealthy?
He was, and then he went to war in Iraq. He did. Well, it was. They talk about Arabia,
Yeah, I
but
know.
we can read between the lines, Mr. Black Mirror, Mr. Otto Gathurst.
Bathurst.
Oh.
Oh yeah. We should mention the director of this movie directed the very first episode of Black Mirror with the Prime Minister and the pig.
The David Cameron story.
Yes.
So
True-
there were
true story.
there were extremely simplistic political overtones to this movie that were
Yes.
war is bad. Some people who we think are good are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Some institutions of power don't care about the people.
Mm-hmm.
And like propaganda exists and
Yeah.
xenophobia exists, but we're handled in such ham-fisted.
Well, here's the thing. It's done like how it's been done in every single blockbuster. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you watch a Transformers movie and the bad guy shares all those traits, you know? There's like a super utilitarian bad guy who's ahead of a bunch of people and just has an army of people at his disposal, says a bunch of evil things to know he's evil, and the good guy now goes after him.
And I think a big part of it is because Hollywood realizes that young people, like, are for the most part upset with the status quo for one reason or another,
Yeah.
but they still need to pander to lowest common denominator. So it needs to be a sort of nonpartisan, anti-establishment,
Like, taking
vibe.
no stance on anything.
except
and just,
don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Be yourself. Yeah. God, I don't know what to do.
So he steals from it. It's shot like the Hurt Locker.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not actually because the
No,
Hurt
it's
Locker is
shot
like shaky
worse.
cam. This is slow mo.
That's shaky.
He
cam.
rapid fires it. No, it's so glossy. He like slow mo
wait.
shoots a bunch of arrows at people.
I know. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's super like way too slick by half. They have the aesthetic that's just sort of like this combination, like almost steampunk and like Game of Thrones.
I know what comparison we came up. It's the fact that everything after Inception and The Dark Knight just looks like a Christopher
Yes.
Nolan movie.
Yeah,
That's what the studio's trying to make it like slick.
They wanted to have a Hans Zimmer soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Speaking of Inception, Leonardo DiCaprio produced
He
this
did.
movie.
I forgot about that.
PGA.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Producers Guild something award?
I don't know.
Producers
Probably.
Guild.
I think it's like the golf tour, right?
Pro Golf Association.
PGA tour.
PG. Yeah. Producing Robin Hood. Archery tour.
Yeah. It was bad. And
Would you watch this movie if Leonardo DiCaprio was Robin Hood?
I watched it
Regardless of
regardless. So probably.
that. Sadly.
Yeah, I mean, it just sucked. It sucked that politically it made me mad for an unclear reason. Like, I'm still not really sure why, but just the like
Probably
like,
because it was so unclear.
it was so unclear, and it's like revolution, but the revolution needed this like rich boy who had to fall from grace
The rich white guy.
and got to liberate people of color who taught him everything he knew, and then he was the hero because like the resistance needed a leader, and they will respect you as the leader. And how even at the end it likes the idea of like nobility and like kings and like stuff like that. What we don't like is the church and the bureaucrats who tell us what to do, who don't have the divine right of kings. Like, it's very weird because it's trying at once to be like woke to the fact that war is bad and like fake.
Yeah.
You know, like wars are done for fake reasons.
Yes.
But also is lame and reactionary just by nature of it being like a story about a rich prep academy boy who becomes Robin Hood.
Yeah. Like, the movie tries to have some sort of stance on something, but is immediately contradicted by its own plot.
Mm-hmm.
And it never really questions the fact that Robin Hood is who he is, and that might be problematic. It just, no. He's Robin Hood.
Yeah.
He's the king.
It's just stupid.
He's born to be king, baby. He can shoot like 3 arrows at once and hit all the guys.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what we paid big money to see.
Yeah, yes.
Do you like Taron Egerton?
I don't think so.
Yeah, me neither.
I find him to play, I mean, until now with the Elton John,
Yeah.
he just plays characters I don't like. Like Kingsman
Yeah.
is actually, functionally a very similar story to this. No, because he's like a street tough.
He gets entered into the high class.
But I think his
Society.
character in that is arrogant and crappy, but like he's supposed to be, and it's a little more
Woke?
I don't know about that.
No, I know.
But-
It doesn't pander as hard.
It doesn't pander. This really reminded me of the Pepsi commercial with Kylie Jenner, where it's just a bunch of old people in a boardroom being like, you know what the kids like? Resisting something, which also happened in Venom, if you noticed. He was the vice journalist,
Yeah.
but they couldn't have him take any stances on issues. So he's
Yeah.
just like, people are fed up. people are taking to the streets to protest, and all the protest signs said like,
We're protesting.
resist the bad guys. Don't give in to who the bad guys are, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Take the power back to us.
Yeah, it's a real sorry to bother you type of plot device.
Yeah.
You like that one? That's a
Yeah.
callback to our best list.
Yeah.
Defend it. Go. What's the difference?
Between
What's the difference between Robin Hood and Sorry to Bother You? Go.
I don't know, guys.
Lost for words.
This is kind of shaking me up a little bit.
I might have to rethink some things.
Robin Hood is the sorry to bother you Coke can wig plot line where it's like it's just the commodification of protest.
Exactly. That's what this movie kind of is.
Yeah.
By kind of, I mean it is.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm surprised it didn't have like any covers, like Zack Snyder style covers of rock songs.
Yeah, like slow, like sweet dreams of
Or like,
freedom.
yeah, definitely.
Something that you see in every commercial for a blockbuster now.
Yeah, I think we're kind of.
I think we're getting past
I think we
it.
came
I
out the
think-
other end of that, but it was bad.
For like 5
We had like
years,
2 years.
every trailer.
Where it
'Cause
was.
there was one movie that like did it real well. I don't remember what it was. 50 Shades of Grey did it pretty hard with Crazy in Love.
Yeah, but that's
That
not
was a
like
big one.
I think most of the covers are of older hits than that. And like,
No,
okay.
I would say they come from all over, and there's just a slower, more epic and full sounding,
Gravitas.
gravitas sounding version of just some pop song.
I knew we were at the end of like a low point when the Power Rangers trailer dared to have a slow version of All Along the Watchtower as if it emotionally warranted a song. And then like a cover of a classic song. Like who do you think you are?
Hey,
Power
dude, the
Rangers?
Jimi Hendrix version's a cover. That's all. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
That
bro.
is correct.
Yeah, get dunked on.
But, like, Jesus.
Yeah.
This one was bad. I'm glad we watched it, but it was bad.
I'm
and
not gonna
it
lie.
was-
I'm not glad I watched
was-
this.
It was worse than I expected.
It was worse than I expected.
And
just because I was so bored.
I think the takeaway is just that this was like 5 scripts that were close enough to each other that they just smashed them all
It was like
together.
that one scene where he's on like the carriage or something. He's under it, and it's like
Yeah.
this is a scene straight out of a Bourne movie where he's like hiding
he's
under a
he's
car.
under the car. They just
but now
had
it's
to
a horse
rewrite it, so
carriage.
it's like, I
yeah.
don't know. He's under a horse. I don't know. A knight. Like
And well, they have like catapult.
yeah. 50 Shades of Grey man is in it. Ben Mendelsohn's in it, and I think it might have potentially tanked his career.
It wouldn't be the only thing. Yeah. Jamie Dornan is 50 Shades Grey.
Yep. He becomes a bad guy at the end of this movie.
He was a bad guy.
To
all
set it
along.
up for the
Are you
sequel.
kidding me? He was a bad guy all along.
To set it up for the
Did you not see
sequel.
that coming?
Yeah, no, I mean I was checked out.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't really see it coming either. I just saw him every time on the screen. It was just like he seems like he's gonna be a bad guy.
Yeah. Well, because he's the other male interacting with the female lead, so you know.
Hey, would it be bad if I read a Google review right now?
No, go for it, please.
Okay. So this movie on Google is what is the percentage? 82% of people who watch this on Google like it. Dude, it's a Google movie.
I know, but those are so scary to me.
It's horrifying numbers.
Those scare me so much.
Okay, so I'm not going to read the whole review because it's like paragraphs long, only to end with an 8.5 out of 10. But in all caps is, don't go into Robin Hood expecting a historically accurate period piece. The film even spells it out at the beginning. I could only tell you the history, but that would be boring. So what this review is getting at, oh my God. All right,
It does spell
I can't
that
keep
out.
reading this. It's like... It's supposed to be. It's like Amazing Spider-Man 1. It's supposed to be the same story you've heard before, but completely different, and it turns everything on its head.
Yes.
But in doing so, just ends up being the same exact thing that we've seen before, just with a more modern lens.
Sure.
Like this movie is literally like take a bad blockbuster that's centered around a singular guy, and you can apply it to Robin Hood. Just every plot element, every character, even. and it's nothing new. It's
But it could also be King Arthur Legends of the Sword.
exactly.
Or
It's
it could also be,
I would
I don't
put-
know, like Spartacus. They make a new Spartacus and it's this.
the new
Like,
Ben-Hur movie.
yeah.
Like, take your pick. I'm not gonna lie though. Legend of the Sword was better than this. Did
well,
you see that
are you
movie?
excited for Aladdin then?
You never heard of a genie? I'm blue
Genie,
now.
Magic lamp. I'm blue now.
What is this? Some kind of genie? Oi, what is this? Some kind of genie, you bloke?
yeah.
We have to see Aladdin and talk about it when that comes out.
Yeah,
Because
what-
of just how much we've been ripping on it.
Genie, magic lamp. That's a thing. They call him Genie.
You don't want to mess with Genie.
Snatch is a real good movie, though.
Yeah, I like Snatch.
I like that movie a lot.
It's got Ghost Town by the Specials. Yeah, let's talk about Ben Mendelsohn. Dude, so this is a guy.
like him,
He's
but-
fallen from the graces.
Now they're just like, we want you to spit through your teeth, like, find them.
Yeah, you're calm and collected for the first half, but once things start not going right for you, you're visibly timid.
I really liked that in Rogue One, though. I thought that was definitely the best part about Rogue One.
He is the best part
Was
about
his coming unraveled and just getting like frustrated and
You want it's the
what's
best
the word for like when you can't do anything?
helpless?
I guess
Yeah, sort of.
impotent.
Best shot of Rogue One. He's looking at the Death
Yeah,
Star
of
as it's
course.
warming up.
Yeah,
Best
that's
part.
great.
Best part.
Great.
Happy for you, Ben Mendelsohn. You did good,
Yeah.
but not anymore. You suck now. You were in Ready Player One and Robin Hood, and that's why you're the worst. Why didn't we talk about Ready Player One?
I still
Nah.
like you, Ben. If you want to,
Oh, that's just because he shares
if
the
you
same
want to be
name.
friends with me in real life, I
Yeah.
still like you enough.
Come on, dude.
Dan would push you away, but I would hang out with you.
I'm sorry, Ben. Did you see Animal Kingdom?
No.
Hey, Mr. Mendelsohn, you were great in Animal Kingdom and Killing Them
Well,
Softly.
This is, if anything, this is sad now that you would switch your opinions so
Hey,
on
hey.
such a dime.
I'm not switching my
Be-
opinion.
Look, Ben
I'm giving-
Mendelsohn he's done with fake friends. That's all I'm saying.
He's done with fake friends, yet he does Robin Hood. Riddle me this one.
Those are his real friends.
Taron Egerton and Jamie
they
Foxx.
hang out in real life.
No, did you ever see Killing Them Softly?
With his song?
No,
No.
it's like the Brad Pitt movie.
No.
Surprisingly better. James Gandolfini's in it. It's
He was in this too. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't we think we saw his name in the credits?
Yeah,
or
maybe I shouldn't be
something?
talking about a completely different movie right now.
We thought we saw James Gandolfini's name in some credits. And we were just like, how
it was
funny
it was
would
for
that-
Gotti.
How funny would it be if you saw James Gandolfini's name in the
Yeah.
credits or something, and then you rewatch it and you're like, oh my god, he's in this.
This came out like a year ago.
Just no one believes you.
James Gandolfini. That didn't land.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Do you want to?
I'm sure sometimes it sucks to make a joke and have it not come out funny. I'm assuming. But like, yeah, let's move on to
the guy who showed the world who's boss.
He showed the world. He stepped up and showed the world.
That
who's
would be a
boss.
guy like him from the 5,000 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So.
5,000 years.
Why 5,000?
I don't know, but doesn't that mean like that would be like
Humanity's gone. Yeah. There's not gonna be anybody like
Genghis Khan?
that. That dates
like-
earlier.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
earlier. Like,
No, I'm like, that's the time frames we're talking about. If there will never be somebody with more impact on the world than John Gotti, like someone will presumably end the world. So this is based on a true story and assumes that you knew that. Assumes that you are deeply familiar with
Yeah.
the Gotti mythos.
And if you're not, then you're gonna be like me, and you're gonna be confused as to how the Gotti family makes money the entire time.
Yeah. I had to
'Cause-
tell Dan at the end that it's the mob. They did drugs.
They dealt drugs. That's something that they never bring up once in this
No,
movie.
because he's a hero, and he
mob
only
life.
yeah he
He's
only shoots
classy.
people who violate the rules and the respect, the code,
family code.
the family code. Only people who wrong that are the people who he gets.
So this
and
movie-
also that one guy who he didn't like, and
Oh, yeah. His boss.
basically what I realized is the premise of this movie is it is a mob movie, like many mob movies, which kind of says casts an air of moral ambiguity over it.
Yes.
Where it's, well, you know, at the end of the day, we're trying to protect our people and provide for our people. We have rules. We have to. Is that so different from the government? Is that so different from the powers that be?
I think the answer here is yes.
Yeah, it is. Yes, but they try to take this moralizing stance on it, on something that's not earned. Gotti's a piece of garbage the whole time, and it ends up basically being he's making the impassioned case of, you know, if it's illegal to shoot a guy in a steakhouse, then I guess lock me up and throw away the key. And if shooting someone in the back of the head in public is wrong, then I guess I'm wrong. Like
Literally this movie.
like they try to turn it into a moral case instead of being like morally ambiguous, like, you know, The Departed or something.
Yeah.
It comes out being pro organized crime.
It's the only movie I've seen where the message is, yeah, organized crime, let's go.
And not like making money however you have to. Like American Gangster is like, you know, the hustle, like sometimes, you know, to provide, and like some people
Gotta
get
break a
addicted
few
to
eggs
that
to make
life.
an omelet.
Yeah. But this is like, no, the mob
Break
for the
those
sake of the
eggs.
mob is good.
Yeah.
Sorry, man, but those eggs were like that when I got here. It was insane. It took the sharpest political turn at the end when it just became this incredibly like populist, hey, New York, the mob, respect.
Yeah, there was just clips of people praising John Gotti. And then the ending is John Travolta talking to the camera being like, I'm the greatest who's ever existed. There's not going to be a man like me for another 5,000 years.
Yeah.
And then it ends and Pitbull slams on. Like, you know?
Yeah, Pitbull is like...
Pitbull does the soundtrack to this movie.
Which
Let's just...
This is a piece of art. Like, it's a 0 and it makes sense. Like, you cannot just make a bad movie and have it be a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to have a vision to have a 0.
Yeah, exactly. There has to be care, time, and effort put into something that failed as hard as this.
Oh, so by the way, the guy walking around in the bathrobe, that's a whole thing. That's a whole big element.
The chin?
Yeah, that's a whole big element of the actual Gotti like case in real life that again we weren't privy to because this
where
movie
they
is
reused
only
the
for
same shot
for
3 times?
3 times. That was incredible.
Sure. They
Normal,
flipped it.
mirrored, and then
Back to
like
normal,
in
but without the
media
filter.
res continuing.
Yeah,
it.
not in sepia filter. Like, you know.
But yeah, he's apparently a big part of it. Is he's a guy who pretended.
I would have never guessed.
He pretended to be like mentally ill to escape.
That's something.
Charges.
That's something I picked up. I guess I could tell he was faking it. I didn't know why.
I didn't get that at all. Like I didn't. I thought he was just old.
There was one scene where they show him take off the robe and then start walking a little normally.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, but
But like this assumes you know this story. And
Yeah.
also jumps around, does a whole like timelines.
This movie's
True
like somebody took a
Detective
shot.
thing.
Like it's like somebody wrote John Gotti's entire life on a whiteboard, and then somebody took a shotgun, shot it, and where the pellets hit, they're like, "Yeah, we'll cover that."
Yeah.
It's
But it's not a smart enough movie to execute that well. It has the little
Most movies
location
aren't.
tags for only places in New York City.
It's insane. They literally go New York City. They have that location tag happen like 5 times, and it's like, was the last scene not in New York City? Is something new here?
Yeah.
And can I talk about the Pitbull soundtrack and how
Please.
jarring it is? So, movie starts with a Pitbull song. You're like, all right, I get it. He did the main song for it, and then there is a scene that takes place in
After
the
he
70s
beats the charges
or in the 80s.
70s.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a big 4th of July party or memorial, some American holiday is
Yeah.
happening. And the music that's playing is Pitbull. And everybody's like dancing and partying
Yes,
to Pitbull.
yes.
And it's like, hold on. This
Ahead
is,
of his time. Yeah.
Yes. Pitbull
What
is
if
ahead of his
Pitbull?
time.
Pitbull was around the whole time. He just.
He only blew up
He
in the early
really,
2000s.
yeah, he's really like Lou Reed. Where
He only
he saw where music was gonna go, and at the time, people didn't really appreciate it.
No.
But
Gotti,
people
though.
people like John Gotti and the rest of the Gambino crime
the
family.
bull, the chin.
Yeah, they're just at the end. They're just the movie is literally. It's not just the stance of the movie. It is said in text on the screen.
Yep.
Like that. The stance is. He only whacked other mobsters.
Mm-hmm.
And
the government locked him up.
the government locked him up for it. An American hero.
Mhm. Can we talk about his kid? Okay, so he has a son in this movie.
He has 2 sons, actually. Show some respect.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Gotti. Oh,
One of them.
this movie is dedicated to.
One of them is. Oh my god, that's the darkest. Like that's the darkest funny element to this movie is that it's dedicated to ostensibly a dead child.
A kid who got hit by a car. Like, why dedicate this movie to that kid? Okay, so he's got to. So not the kid who
If
dies.
he was alive, he'd like sue. He'd be like, I don't want my name with that.
Take my name off. Okay, so yeah. Let's talk about it for a second. His kid dies, and then there's like a good 2 scenes where he's dealing with it, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's what happens. Not mentioned once more throughout the rest of the
It
movie.
is mentioned.
Oh, no. Don't.
Okay.
You can't. Essentially, the kid didn't have a hair on his private parts.
Yeah, and that was what the grieving father said to express the sort of the carelessness
The
and
gravity,
the this should never happen. No parent should have to bury their child.
He didn't have a
But
hair.
he says he didn't even have a hair on his willy.
Yeah.
Only he doesn't say willy.
He says a word that we're probably allowed to say.
Probably, but whatever.
Like it happens when you touch a thorn. You get?
Stabbed.
Yes. He's a little stabber.
that would
His
be nuts.
pecker. Anyway.
But yeah, and we don't like John Gotti. Like we see him talking to his family, but he's just swearing and hanging out with like crummy old men the whole time.
He says like horrible things. He's constantly giving orders to his wife, and then he's just like, I love you, kids. I'm a good father.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he has this one son who is clearly the oldest, and it's played by this guy.
He looks like a club promoter.
He looks like a club promoter, exactly. He's played by this guy in the 70s, and like, you know, the guy looks like he's probably like 30. He's playing like a high schooler. Sure, that happens all the time in Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
The movie is all, there's a lot of layers, but one of the layers is that John Gotti, more modern day, is talking to his son who's considering taking a plea deal.
And he does look like, when he's in the orange jumpsuit, he looks like
the Thing from
Jeffrey Tambor in Arrested Development,
Yeah.
but if you melted him.
Yeah, The Thing.
What?
He looks like The Thing.
Oh, he does look like the Thing.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah, and then his son is played by the same actor, but it's supposed to be like 20, 30 years later. The kid looks younger.
Like now has teenage children of his own.
Yes. And he had
Looks younger.
all they did to him was they put glasses on him and they put his hair up.
And they like buttoned the top button on his
Yeah, they
shirt.
put him in like a suit. Like he looked. I legitimately was like, "Oh, is that supposed to be like? Wait, no, hold on. Is this modern day?
It actually
Is that
was confusing.
we had to talk about this during the movie? Be like, wait, hold on, what's going on? Is John Gotti playing the dad, or is John Travolta playing John Gotti's dad? Is
Yeah,
that
it
kid
was
the same
baffling.
kid? And then eventually we just realized it was.
Yeah.
And we had to accept the fact that they didn't care.
Yeah.
They literally did not put any makeup on the kid. Just give him a couple of crow's nests. Come on.
Yeah. So what?
Crow's feet. Oh my God.
Crow's nests ahoy. Yeah, but like,
Ahoy.
we don't even see, we don't get anything like for a movie that glorifies the mob. It doesn't show any exciting mob action.
Dude, you kidding me? They whacked that guy in the steakhouse.
They
Dude,
shot a guy in a steakhouse.
they whacked that
He
guy.
shot a guy in a shower.
Oh, yeah.
And then his son got in a bar fight. And the rest of it was just arguing with the same old man about like, well, you can't do that to the family. You think that you think that Sally the pipe, and Tommy the snake, and Joey the rat, and Jimmy the rat, and Tony the rat are gonna betray me.
The rat's actually what the bull became.
Yes, because he betrays him.
Yeah, that's Sammy the Bull. God. It's funny because I started telling a coworker, he's like a middle-aged dude. I was like, "Hey, I watched Gotti last night." He's like, "Oh, did they talk about Sammy the Bull?"
I think this might be a story that's known by.
I think we're too young.
I think we're too young to know anything about it. Yeah,
Exactly. John Gotti was a thing in like the 70s and
Yeah.
80s. Like people who were around that time definitely know who he is and know the names surrounding him.
And they understand that there won't be another one like him for 5,000 years.
Yeah, they know that the government locked him up for unjust words.
And that then the critics put out a hit.
Yeah. Who are you going to believe? The critics or me? That was like the marketing for this movie, right?
After it got panned, they pivoted and it was like, you gonna trust some fancy pants critics? Forget about it.
Honestly, that makes more sense than the movie on a whole because that's what the movie essentially is.
It is that. It's no one knows better than you know. And if they try to tell you can't whack a guy in a steakhouse, you tell them I thought I lived in the United States of America. And it's just the worst type of person and feeding like the worst worldview.
Yeah.
And in the end, the woman is giving the impassioned speech to the jury about like, but at the end of the day, wasn't he a hero? And like they're eating it up. And it is this movie in how bad it is, but also in what it's celebrating and the message it's sending on is a tragedy.
It's doing more harm than anything.
Absolutely. Well, and then we got down the rabbit hole of like, is this a legitimate movie?
So when I talked to my coworker, he was like, I heard that movie was funded by the mob. And I was like, I don't know how true that is, but we did look into the producers.
Looked a little bit into it. And the producers are two guys that produced a bunch of movies where Bruce Willis
and Steven
shoots
Seagal.
people who don't look like him.
Yeah.
And
then the third one is a lawyer.
The third producer is a
who's
lawyer
done
with
nothing
no
else.
credits on IMDb.
Just he is a lawyer.
I found a page
and has Russian ties.
No, he doesn't have Russian ties. I don't
Wait,
think.
what? I thought
he's a New York trade attorney.
Oh.
And the two worked with Steven Seagal, and Steven Seagal has Russian ties.
Yeah, he's the ambassador for Russia. Yeah. Okay, there it is.
And it's like there's a lot of these criminal dudes who are tied up with like Russian dirty money in New York and New Jersey. Like this is not
100%.
outside the bounds of reality. But like, yeah, I don't know.
We kind of wonder.
It is a weirdly pro mob movie.
Yeah.
And I know that people who haven't seen it are like, oh well, you know, Goodfellas is pro mob. Kind of, you could even say The Godfather is pro. Not like this.
Yeah, no. So like those movies, I don't think the intent is to glorify the mob, but the outcome could definitely be somebody watches that and goes, "Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
I
some
want to
idiot
be
could
like
be like,
that."
I want to be like, yeah.
Yeah, and like Scarface is a movie that glorifies violence and the mob-like mentality, in my opinion. But
this argues
movie
that being in the
literally-
mob is better than not being in the mob.
This movie is literally saying that, not just like getting at it, you know, not just like, oh yeah, that. Like Scarface, like, yeah, you could read it that way. But this movie is like, no, we're telling you that's how it is. We love organized crime. E from Entourage loves organized crime.
What we love is, look, if it makes me a bad guy to say that I should be able to head a criminal syndicate, then I guess I'm a bad guy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you never see them doing any of the bad stuff.
Yeah, they never deal, except for killing.
Yeah, but they only kill
Like
guys who break the code, and also that one guy who did not.
Who did nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. This movie, I really wish had shown how Gotti made his money.
John Travolta in a powerhouse performance at multiple stages of this man's life.
Dude.
Multiple stages of eyebrows.
He bit his knuckle when he found out his kid had died.
He bit it like he was like a Three Stooge.
Dude, what? Like, you went through that in real life. Why are you biting your knuckle? Like, come on.
He's like, because that's how it is. A lot of people
that's
don't.
what I did. It's not that funny, but...
I don't know, man. I don't know about this angle.
Yeah, maybe this isn't the best take to have, but...
Yikes.
Just felt like you could,
There's also just the weirdness with his son, and the son has a meet cute with the woman he ends up marrying.
Oh, and she's like 16.
And she's like, I'm 16, and he's like,
No,
that's fine with me.
No, he says, hey, you want to go grab a beer?
Yeah.
She goes, I'm 16. Hey, you want to go grab a soda?
And then
That
they
was
do, and then later
uncomfortable.
we see them getting married, and they dance to like this mob guy singing like a version of like my baby boy,
Like,
my
yeah.
little son.
It's a mobster's wedding.
But
you
it's
know
like
what music is playing.
It's supposed to be like a message from him to his son about like carrying the torch, but it's a weird first dance for a married
also,
couple.
you don't know how long after they met they got married because here's the thing, they selectively tell you what time it is. Like they'll jump 5 years and not tell you that, or they'll jump 5 years and tell you that. It's luck of the draw. They'll give you an exact December 16th, 1985. Yeah. Obviously something happened on that day, the day he killed Paul, whatever. And then, you know, years will go by and they just won't tell. Like, you don't know.
Paul Castellano.
Do they ever say when he's talking to his son in prison and he's got the thing? He looks like the Thing.
What year it is?
Yeah, do they ever say what year that is?
No, he says they brought me in here like Hannibal the Cannibal.
Oh my God, I forgot about the scenes where they brought him in like Hannibal, and
It's like
it was
Hannibal,
like,
yeah.
it's like, why?
Yeah.
That was unfitting. He's not that dangerous.
So I actually got confused about how the sequence of events happened in this movie for a second.
God, yeah.
Because it is very confusing.
Horribly edited.
And I thought it ended with, because he's arguing with his son. His son's like, I'm going to take a plea bargain. I'm going to take 5 years, but I'll be out of jail in time to help my kids grow up,
Yep.
you know, instead of taking life. And Gotti is basically telling him, like, you can't do that.
Don't take the
my
plea deal.
son. You got to respect the life so much that you go down for it.
Yeah.
And then you see the son's house getting raided, and I thought that happened in linear time, but it did not. So I thought it ended with him convincing his son to not take the plea bargain and then got jailed for life. And I'm like, that is a crushing ending.
That would be a good ending.
That would be like, but that, you know, we had seen enough of the movie by that point to know that it wasn't trying to make that point.
Yes.
But that'd be like a devastating ending.
That would actually kind of make it worth it, because then
That's kind of what I was saying, where I'm like, I don't know about this, dude. This is like a heartbreaking ending.
because then you look at everything before, and it's like, oh, he was supposed to be wrong that entire time. The movie wasn't glorifying it. That would be an interesting angle.
No.
Obviously,
Instead,
that's not
John
what
Gotti
happened.
died in prison heroically. And
Heroically, like a true mob boss.
And then we got, you know, Super 8 footage of his funeral set to House of the Rising Sun, because that's a cool song people like.
Oh my god! I wish it was a Pitbull cover.
There's a house in Miami. Ha ha.
Uno, dos, tres. Yeah, and then the last 20 minutes are just about his kid.
Yeah.
That was
I was
ridiculous.
pretty checked out by then, though. I was
No,
reeling.
but that's when the movie just showed you its cards. That's when the movie was like, no, John Gotti was innocent.
Yes.
Like, that's
This
when they
is-
started playing newsreels of people being like, he did good for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be locked up.
Yeah, he only killed his own, which you don't have to kill anyone,
Like,
theoretically.
Even if it's your own, I don't think that makes it better. I don't think that makes it excusable.
And also, by doing organized crime, you're propagating all other forms of organized crime because you're a
Yes.
network and like all this stuff. But no, this movie's too either stupid or willfully misleading.
willfully ignorant. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Like
mov-
omitting on purpose the
Yeah.
ugly sides of this because it was, you know, paid for by the estate of John Gotti Jr. or
Exactly.
whatever.
This movie is like a dude who actually thinks the mob is cool and
Which I think
classy,
is E from
glorified-
Entourage.
Which is
right?
E from Entourage.
I
yes.
imagine he's like, man, I wish I was in the mob.
I'm from Bronx.
Yeah.
I know what's like. Yeah, no, it's like it's like a person's idea of a cool mob.
Yeah.
It's like the person's idea of what a mob should be, you know, where you don't see any of the drugs, you don't see them hitting any women, you just see them being classy and eating dinner and getting in some discussions.
Can you allow me to go off on like sort of a
Please do.
deep tangent?
I would love it.
I think that this is like a thing that we're gonna see a lot of is as the world swings or America swings more culturally reactionary.
Yeah.
Loving figures that aren't even the initial figures of something that we like, but are the crude facsimiles of it.
What
For
do you
example, people being like, men have gone so downhill. Remember when there was like Hugh Hefner and he was like a classy billionaire who had all the ladies? And then people being like, Donald Trump is that, right?
Okay.
Donald Trump is to like Hugh Hefner or whoever as Gotti is to like The Godfather, where it's just like the dude who grew up thinking that was cool.
Yeah.
And how we just have like this crummy, dumpy version of it that only the most ignorant bros are
Will
like,
look up to
yeah,
it.
that's who I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah, that's fair. And it seems like the ignorant bros are the people who look up to people like Hugh Hefner or something in the first place.
And I think they're going to be the people who look up to Jordan. What's his
Jordan
name?
Belfort, yeah,
Jordan,
exactly.
Jordan Belfort.
That's the thing. Wolf of Wall Street comes out, and I know two types of people who like that movie.
Yeah.
There's the people who are like, that's a good movie. It's like pretty good commentary on like the Wall Street scene and the corruption and just like how gross people can
People
be.
are like, that guy's a pimp.
Yeah, and there's like people who are like, dude, that movie was hilarious. Like, are you kidding? I want to be living large like that.
That time when he made his wife cry.
God,
That was
the
so
time
cool.
He dug up cocaine out of his couch after being sober for like 5 years and then punched his wife in the stomach. Bro, Scorsese gets it.
My man Skorkies gets it.
Say.
But yeah, just like the interpretation of this this crudest iteration of some sort of masculine culture that is just that is in turn somebody trying to replicate their Hollywood of yesteryear.
It's like there will be like a criticism of something, but then it'll just like sort of just become known to somebody else as like what we're saying. It's exactly
Gotti is not a criticism though.
Exactly.
Oh,
Gotti
yes.
is
Gotti is the thing that is made by the person who misinterprets the criticism.
Exactly.
So the bros that we go to school with who love Wolf of Wall Street are gonna make a thing about Jordan Belfort about how he's actually like a pimp.
the coolest dude.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's gonna be yes.
Okay,
Oh my
thank you
God.
for putting that
Yeah,
into words for me. 'Cause
No,
I was lost.
I totally got you though.
Cool.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. This movie
I mean, Entourage
gross.
is that right?
Entourage
is that not that?
like a bro's idea of Hollywood.
Yeah. Is that not somebody who looks at something like Wolf of Wall Street and is like,
Yeah,
that's actually what that is cool.
That's exactly what it is.
God, Entourage we got to do an Entourage episode now. I know we've talked about it so many times and you don't want to. But like
It's just something I've seen way too much of, and I regret all of it, and I don't want to make it known as to how much about that show I know.
I think we owe it.
All right, fine. We owe it to the people.
We owe it to me.
All right, fine. That could be the finale.
We'll do it. Finale.
We gotta do something big, bro.
Entourage 2-parter.
Side A and side B.
You thought you knew how it would end.
Yeah, we have some crazy cliffhanger, which is there's no cliffhanger.
Dan dies at the end.
Oh man. Yeah, what if we got real conceptual with this show and
That would rule.
one of us died and we got like Joe came in to be you.
Yeah.
And he would be like, "Yeah, I'm Ben. I say things that sound smart."
That'd be sick, dude.
Get it?
That'd be awesome though.
Yeah,
like
that'd be so funny.
Now we can't do that though because we just said it.
We
but
just
that'd
showed
be-
you our
that'd be good.
cards. Your move, audience.
That's what they did to John Lennon, actually.
That's what they did to John Belushi.
They absolutely did. Close enough. Oh my God.
I would talk about Blues Brothers 2000 again before I want to talk about Entourage.
I think Gotti was incredible. Like I will watch Gotti again.
That's the
no
thing.
question.
I feel like I got to show people Gotti.
And it does. The pacing is not the best.
Yeah.
No
No way.
When it gets to the end, it starts moving at an ideological clip
At a
that was
breakneck
really,
pace.
really quite startling.
It's like a turtle the entire movie, and then the last 20 minutes just is like
The turtle
rabbit.
just does a rail of cocaine and then is like, the mob
and
is
is put
good.
on a skateboard. The mob is good. You do a rail of coke. I love the mob.
They don't. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Gotti is like, it's out of all these movies, out of all the movies where I'm like, yeah, the worst of the year, this is truly like probably the worst. I mean, you haven't seen Mute, so that's what you get, but Mute's worse. Gotti is only better because of how enjoyable it
Because
gets.
it's like
Yes.
it has baffling decisions that no widely released movie can have.
Exactly. It's got like just the fact that it's pro organized crime, and then the
John Travolta talking to the camera.
John Travolta talks to
Bookending the movie
He
by
talks to the
monologuing
camera at the
at the
very.
camera.
He does a thing where he's like looking at the Brooklyn Bridge, and he turns and goes like, "Oh hey, how's it going?"
New York. Most
love ya.
beautiful city in the world.
Hell's Kitchen.
You know, I was a street rat. Riff raff.
And then
Come see Aladdin this May.
Yeah, I think I laughed harder than I have at any comedy movie this year at the fact that at the end credits it's dedicated to that kid.
Yeah,
That
was
the
floored
most
us.
shocking thing in the world, because we were like just about to turn it off too. We were like, oh yeah, it's just like a Pitbull song playing over the credits. So
And
happy
then
I
like the
did it.
in memoriam picture of this kid.
That was just. I don't think I'll see something that shocking again for some time.
Yeah.
That's why I think people should watch.
That's
Gotti.
why I think it should win Best Picture
No.
instead of Crash.
Gotta give it to Crash. I mean, this movie crashed hard. You like that one?
I'm sick of these movies with these Italian American savior complexes.
Yeah, like Robin Hood and Gotti.
Robin Hood's Italian
Venom.
for no reason.
Yeah, this one's enjoyable. This one's so bad that it's good.
Yeah.
I don't like saying that.
I mean, I think it's bad for society.
no, it's bad.
Like
if
it
you're gonna watch this
actually
movie,
is-
please laugh at it.
Yeah, like it is
Please.
actually. And again, if somebody told me this and I hadn't seen it and they were so like, it promotes such bad ways to be so overtly, I don't think I would really understand
Yeah.
how much this is a tacit and overt endorsement of just crimes.
Yeah.
Just crimes for the sake of living a crime
Only a select
lifestyle.
few crimes, though. The cherry-picked ones.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm not one to like just be like, yeah, that movie was so bad that it was good, because I believe there's only like a handful of movies out
I
there.
mean, but
like
we had an
that.
incredible time watching it.
Yes,
Like
the experience we had was great. Probably get a little inebriated, watch Gotti.
Yeah.
That was probably not good to suggest people do, but that's how we
if
enjoyed
you
it.
can legally do so. If
Yes,
not,
of course. If
that
not,
would not be cool.
then just watch it on Amazon like
Yeah.
we did.
If not, then please enjoy your youth in better ways. Like,
Don't waste your
been
time.
watching Gotti because the radio guys with their garbage show said it's fun.
Garble. All right. So I'm gonna move the show on.
Let's talk about Mute.
I can't believe you right now. So when we were talking about the worst 2018, the first thing I said was Mute. And then today I was like, so what'd you think of Mute? And you were like, I was supposed to watch that?
That's not.
That's what you said.
You're misrepresenting me. I felt worse about it.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. Ben did seem like he felt bad. I don't know if you know this, but it's a Duncan Jones movie,
Yeah, that's the one thing I knew about it.
and it's dedicated to both of his parents at the end of the movie.
Did they also get hit by a car?
David Bowie got hit by cancer.
Wait, David Bowie is Duncan Jones' dad?
Did you not know this?
I didn't know that.
Duncan Jones is David Bowie's kid.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now you do.
Huh.
Yeah, dude. And when Warcraft was coming out, he was like, my dad saw an early cut of this film and loved it. Now, he didn't say that. He was like, my dad saw an early cut of this film and said nothing saying good about the movie, just being like, you have a vision or something like that. Stuff like that.
Stuff that like a supportive, creative person will say about your piece of garbage.
Exactly. So Mute is the passion project by Duncan Jones. Years in the making. He's had this screenplay shopped around for Hollywood for like 10 years.
Yeah.
He's been working on this for a while. Finally lands his movie on Netflix, where movies go to die, it seems.
Paul Rudd, Justin Theroux.
Paul Rudd, Justin Theroux.
I like Justin Theroux. I like the idea of Paul Rudd being in this, but
Okay, so Alexander Skarsgård is our
Yeah.
main character. He's mute. The movie is a super in the future, basically Blade Runner knockoff about an Amish man who can't talk and how mixed up he gets in the underbelly crime scene of this world.
is that so? That's because a childhood accident leaves Leo mute, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Are you reading that off of a?
No.
What are you looking at? You keep
As
looking.
an adult in 2035,
Stop,
he works
stop,
as a
stop,
bartender.
stop. I see this thing.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah. Anyway,
Is when
just shut up.
Nadira talks Leo down by telling him she needs to keep her job.
So here's a classic example of what happens when somebody has a vision and is really passionate about it, and everybody's too afraid to tell him no. Like, yeah, I know what you're thinking.
It may have gone a little far in some places.
Yeah. Classic.
Have we maybe referenced that, like, probably in 50% of our shows we've referenced that video.
The
in some way
behind
or
the scenes
another.
footage of Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
I
The
may
George
have
Lucas.
gone a little too far in some places.
George Lucas's come to Jesus moment.
Okay.
Red Tails is a real return to form,
Stop. So this is in the same film series as Moon, technically speaking.
Beloved film.
Yeah. I don't know. We can't really talk about it. I just want to talk about one scene that I really hated. So Paul Rudd. So Justin Theroux is a like fake limb. What are those called?
Prosthetic.
Yeah.
He's a gross, he's a sicko, right?
He's a pedophile.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is that he like will have footage of like a patient walking with their new leg, and it's like a little girl, and he's got like sexy music playing and red lights, and the mom's just sitting there like, she's at the doctor. Yeah, jarring stuff. And then Paul Rudd, who has a little girl,
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
finds the footage that Justin Theroux has collected over the time, and he's like, "Hey," and they're best friends, and he goes, "Hey man, you're sick," and pulls out this giant Bowie knife and holds it. Bowie knife, get it? And he holds it to Justin Theroux's neck and is like, "I know what you are."
Yeah.
He's like, "If you ever come near me or my kid like that,
Yeah.
you're a dead." Like the most
Yeah,
intense
yeah,
scene
yeah,
where you're
yeah,
like,
and
"This
yeah.
is it." The friends, they get divided.
Absolutely.
Paul Rudd realizes Paul Rudd's got some sort of moral ground. The guy's like, okay, I'm sorry, but it'll never happen again. I'll delete all the footage, all that stuff. Paul Rudd's then like, hold on, because he gets a phone call and he picks it up. He's like, okay, yeah. And hangs up the phone. He's like, we just got the money, because there's an issue earlier of getting money, and when the call was they're gonna get it, and they both smile, and then they're in the back. They're both standing up out of a sunroof of a limousine partying.
Like next shot.
The next shot, the hard edit is to that. I don't know if you just really wanted me to hate Paul Rudd, who seemingly throughout the entire movie you wanted me to like somewhat, even though he's a criminal. You know, like even in that scene alone, it's like, okay, he's got some morals. Paul Rudd has some sort of ethical.
Do you think that was just such a botched, like I hesitate to say oversight, because like that's like ridiculous.
There's no way that's
or
an
do you
oversight.
think that was supposed to be like the money trumps whatever moral compass you thought you had, in a way that I can't imagine it trumping
Here's the thing.
morals in
I
that
think
context.
you're right. I think there was intent to say something with that. It just completely missed the mark.
I also don't think even your biggest piece of garbage would be like, we got the money, popping bottles. Like,
Yes,
like even your biggest
exactly.
piece of garbage would,
be like, yeah, I'm not about this other guy anymore. You know,
at minimum, be like, I'm not really feeling this guy anymore.
I say we don't go party and celebrate the money now.
I'm just gonna stay in tonight.
Ugh, that one scene alone made it the worst for me.
Oh my god.
Because that's just so morally bankrupt.
Was there any like cool future stuff or?
Okay, so all the cool future stuff looks bad. It looks like a worse Blade Runner 2049. Like it looks like a Netflix Blade Runner movie.
That makes sense though.
Here's the thing. There's ideas that I like. There's ideas like, okay, an Amish dude in the future. That could be interesting. They don't do.
It
here's the
sounds
thing.
a little like a '90s premise.
Exactly. It sounds like a dumb premise, but it's at least different enough to be its own thing. But it does nothing with the Amish aspect. There's nothing about him that's like, oh, Amish. Like, oh, he has a big wooden stick, and that's his fighting stick, and that has like Amish something with it. And I think that's the
He has a
only reason.
shillelagh, like an Amish.
Yeah.
What a dumb thing. That's so stupid.
He kills Paul Rudd with it, I'm
That's
pretty sure.
so stupid.
Oh, and the end of the movie, Paul Rudd dies, and Alexander Skarsgård, Mute, is now protecting this kid, and because the kid just got kidnapped by Justin Theroux, and I think he kills Justin Theroux and falls into water, and the little girl is standing on the edge of the bridge, and Mute is looking up and is just like
He's not saying
anything.
anything,
And then he
yeah.
goes, "Don't jump," and he becomes not a mute to tell the little girl not to jump.
It's like Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Exactly.
No!
It's one of those moments, but not at all.
Or like
And-
in F the Prom, when the guy who never talks finally says F the Prom.
yeah. Anyway, and then the little girl doesn't jump because he told her not to, and he then is now the father of said child. Screen cuts to black and says dedicated to parents, David Bowie and David Bowie's wife, who also died recently.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's like dedicated to new parents, and that was the whole idea.
So you
of
made
it.
a movie about like a pedophile?
Man, like no, the Mute's not a pedophile.
I know, but a main part of it?
And I
In your
legitimately
parents'
think the only reason why Justin Theroux is a pedophile is so that there would be stakes at the end of the movie with the little girl on the bridge and the little girl getting kidnapped and Mute having to save that. I think that's the only reason why he was a pedophile, is just so that he has a reason
And
to
that's
save
like,
that girl.
yeah, that's not a thing you add for the sake of.
For a plot
we need a
device.
little oomph. Like,
need a little bite
like,
to this
because
movie.
you're gonna lead to moments where it's not being dealt with the sort of gravity and seriousness that it should be, like the scene that it sounds like
Yeah.
happened.
I really think you should watch this movie, Ben. I think you would come up to me with like a lot of problems you would have, and I would
I'll
like
watch
to hear
it.
them.
I'll watch it.
I mean, now you don't need to.
Yeah, but I mean, I will.
Yeah, watch it for next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about Chinese movies and Moon.
And Moon?
Well, whatever.
Mute. There's one good scene, and it's on the TV. There's a newsreel, and it's like controversy on the moon. There's a bunch and then you see a courtroom where Sam Rockwell stands up and goes,
Is that real? Is this real?
yes, and it's in the same series as Moon.
Oh yeah.
And there's a courtroom scene. He stands up and goes, "I'm Sam Bell," and then another Sam Rockwell stands up and goes, "No, I'm Sam Bell," and then there's like a whole bunch of going, "I'm Sam." It's really funny.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny, and you're like, oh, that's a callback to Moon, and that's the only thing to enjoy in this movie. Should we play off?
Did it have a synthwave soundtrack?
Yeah, dude. What do you think?
What are you an idiot?
It's like the Good Time soundtrack. Yeah.
That's cool. That's what the future sounds like. Okay.
Fluctuation, baby. That's all we got.
I'm not even kidding. I heard that and I'm like, that's not bad. I'm like, dude, I want to watch Blade Runner 2049 again. That soundtrack was lit.
This is it, guys. I'm the new voice actor for the movie soundtracks. Okay, we actually have to wrap it up now.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Industry Professionals this week. This has been Ben and Dan.
Ho, 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 ho.
No. I'm putting on automation. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.